Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's just before 5 a.m. on a Saturday and I'm heading off to work. I'm just going to walk down here to the bus stop and wait for the bus. I'm a little bit early because there are limited services on Saturday, so I've got a bit of time to just talk about a book summary that I just completed last night and something that'll be of interest. So the book that I'd like to talk about is entitled Talking to Strangers. Talking to Strangers. So let me get a little bit further down here where I can see some light, and I'll be on the M2 freeway, which is city bound, so I'll be waiting for a bus. And the author is Malcolm Gladwell. He's written a couple of books actually. Not sure what his last book was that I did a book summary on, but I do recall the name, and he's an interesting writer. So this is the bus stop. As you can see, the freeway is pretty quiet. It's early on a Saturday. So let's see where this book takes us this morning. I'll see how long or how far I can get through the book summary before the bus turns up. Here we are, we're in light over here. So the author says here that sometimes the best conversations with strangers allow the stranger to remain a stranger. So what the author is suggesting from this book is that we're constantly judging people all the time. So as humans, our natural state is to judge others constantly throughout the day. So whenever we meet anybody, regardless of who they are, family, friends, strangers, work peers, we are constantly listening to what they are saying, and we're constantly trying to judge them. But the important lesson to learn is that we're really, really bad at judging people, because if you think that you are good at reading people, we're completely wrong. We're completely hopeless at it. Because the interesting thing to consider is that everyone that we meet, everyone that we come across has different experiences and different perspectives in life, and it's hard to tell what they are thinking. It's almost impossible to tell what they are thinking, even if you think you know somebody really, really well. So the next step is to try and understand why we are so bad at reading people. Because in actual fact, we're hopeless at reading people, is what the author suggests and says. Because as humans, our tendency is, even if we've got a tiny bit of information that is presented to us, or a clue about someone that passes by our eyes or ears or senses, we think that we can use this tidbit of information to infer something deep and meaningful about that person. Yet we think that we are so complex ourselves that people could not possibly know what we are thinking. And yet, on the flip side, we think that we can read somebody else and understand what's going on in their mind, and be the know-it-all or the ultimate psychologist. But the other trick also, according to the author, is to try and understand and try and learn or build the skill to know when somebody is lying to you. But the reality is that as humans, we are really, really hopeless, once again, at picking up when people are lying to us. We are just not good at it. And the problem is, according to the author, that our default position as humans, our default position is to believe that people are telling the truth and assuming that they're telling the truth until we have enough evidence that they are lying. So this makes us vulnerable, as you can quite understand, because research shows us time and time again that we're only good at picking up lies about half the time. The statistic is 54% of the time we can generally pick up when people are lying, which means that the other half of the time we've got no idea. Because people need to identify a trigger to alert us when somebody is lying. You know, we need to be able to look and pick up a trigger. But once you get a knack for picking up triggers, you may be better at identifying the lies, the multiple lies that we're showered with on a daily basis. Because the reason why we can't pick up lying and the reason why we can't pick up people is a very basic one indeed. And it's because emotions, and we humans are very emotional, but our emotions are not expressed in the same way by every person. We have different ways of expressing our emotions as human beings. And the key point to pick up from this is that there is no uniform way that every person expresses themselves. So for that reason, and for that reason only, it is so hard to tell what is really going inside their heads. Culturally, we're all different. You may be able to culturally tap into what's going on in people's heads, but in general, it's very, very hard, even culturally, to pick up what's happening and what people are thinking about, because everybody's different in terms of how they process things and how they express their emotions and what emotions they basically go through. And also to note that our disposition, the way we look on the outside, doesn't necessarily express how we feel. And to think that people are transparent by their facial expressions or by their body language is also an issue that people are fooled with. Because transparency, according to the author, can be very, very misleading. So don't rely on people's disposition, don't rely on people's body language, don't rely on a lot of things, because in most cases we'll probably get it wrong anyway. Hence why people who are in relationships wake up one day to find their partner has fallen out of love with them or has been living a lie their entire lives. You know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge that lots of people find, and it's a bit of a shock to many people. And it's not going to change. You know, it's always going to be that way. So I guess the bottom line is that we just need to pray, hope and pray that God places His hand and enables us to, all of us, to be with people who are good in general. Anyway, let's finish up with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's make the most of this wonderful Saturday. So I think I'll wind it up now because I've got somebody who's just come down here to the bus stop. Don't want to think that there's a news crew down here. Anyway, take care. Have a wonderful Saturday. Que tal Filakia from Jim's 5 a.m. club on this very early morning, this very early Saturday morning, whilst I'm waiting here at the bus stop, waiting to board the bus to head to work, to make the most of this morning. And as you can probably see, it's a little bit overcast. If you look up into the sky, it's an overcast Saturday morning. It's an overcast autumn day, but hopefully we'll see the cloud dissipate, the wind potentially blowing it away, and it may be a different Saturday morning weather-wise when I get into the city in half an hour. Take care. Bye for now.